GMP. If that would be the worst. Now that's going to work out. I thought they might use them for a pick. Well, the Roll's done a good job today. Started 7th, running 17th. As the leaders go by and continue to battle. I'd like you to meet Casey King. Hey, nice fire station.
Captain Taylor.
It's like you personalized coverage you can get by working with a farmer's agent.
This is the reinvented police officer. He's also a masseuse. These are reinvented curtains. They are made of pizza. The reinvented GMP. It's a little nicer.
Next!
And this is the reinvented Camry with available streaming music and newly refined interior with a class-leading MPG. From Toyota.
Side by side and follow this lead battle with
services can get credit for that. So to save money, I found a new way to get my profile out there.
Check me out. Everybody says I got a very good position at the love spinach stick. 5'10",
So then a little exploring.
my finest Sagittarius, I'm in the Spanish cheese. My headline is a team of getaway.
There's an easier way to save. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Too much information. No such thing as NASCAR. The NASCAR Sprint Cup mobile app, you get live in-car audio, real-time stats, even better bios. And with Sprint Unlimited data, you can find out everything about them. Like my secret obsession karaoke.
There's no such thing as TMI when you have...
Fifth caution of the day is out. Tony Stewart slammed the wall after contact from Brendan Gaughan. Some of the leaders pit. Here's a look at what happened from Jimmy Johnson's view. Yeah, you see the scores on the outside. Brendan Gaughan into 33, just drove right into him. See right here, I mean, Brendan's down on the bottom somewhat. Tony goes down the outside. Tony been running real high into that turn. Stewart was lapping 33. And ends up with some pretty heavy right side damage. Had quite a number of cars hit. All but the first three, it appears.
Yeah,
first four.
First four, yeah. I think Brad Keselowski, Matt Kenseth, Brian Vickers, and Mark Truex Jr. in the 56, those four drivers stayed out that time.
I think the big decision here is going to be for Brad Keselowski. Standing out the right thing to do. They really kind of played the cards are handed, but he needs to start on the outside because he tried that start on the inside. That don't work. Oh boy, Dale Jr. too fast entering the pits. Matt?
And Mike, exactly what DW was talking about, Keselowski just said, boy, what a decision. I don't know whether to take the bottom on the restart or the top. He asked Joey Meyer where he thought Kenseth would be best. He said going into one, middle to high is where Kenseth was better, but you need to make the choice of where you want to be going into turn 3.
Darrell, where do you want to be if you're the leader? Based on everything I've seen yesterday and today, outside. Michael?
Bottom if I'm Brad. The bottom for Brad. He's been better down there. Matt's gone up high and can't do anything with him. He took the bottom earlier. Maybe the bottom for Brad. But Darrell, what huge pit calls these guys just had to make. Stay out, pit. What are you going to do? The first guy with tires is Clint Boyer in 5th. He could be a factor before they throw this checker.
Well, he could be, but based on what I've seen, and I watched the race yesterday, tires are not near as important. Track position is key.
I would agree with that, Darrell, with the exception our top 3 drivers have 155 laps on their tires. That is a lot.
It is, but just based on what I've seen, I've got to go with staying out. Well, what did Keselowski's group have to say about this decision?
Tell me what you think of Paul, because I got no clue what to do here. They're going to do the opposite of what we do, you know? Yep. So we need to just stay out here, man, and make them pass us. We're going to stay out by the time we get corners. We're going to be about 19, 18 laps to go. That's right, I'm just making sure. Lap times look good, man. Just got to keep working them over.
Ready for the restart. On worn tires, Keselowski, Kenseth, Vickers, and Truex.
Real borderline again here on the restart as to who beat who.
It looked like that 17 beat the 2 to the line again to me. And here comes Boyer, pounding the bottom on fresh tires in the 15.
But now just remember, Martin Truex Jr. in that 56, he even has fresher tires than Keselowski and Kenseth.
By 25 laps, correct. Vickers gives way to teammate Boyer, but Burton and Menard following him on the bottom. 15 to go.
Right now, Clint Boyer in the 15 is having a time with his teammate Brian Vickers in the 55. I think he may clear him. No, Vickers gets the run on the high side.
All those drivers with fresh tires are going to use them up trying to get to the front. You're just in a roadblock, and the tires just can't overcome what you lose while you're trying to get by people. And up front, same old story. Brad Keselowski, the leader. Matt Kenseth trying to stay with him to have a late race charge at the win. Now, what might play into some of these guys with tires hands, if we should have another caution could be possibly an advantage, but I just don't see it right now.
Only 10 cars on the lead lap.
You're going to have pretty,
It's scooted away, Darrell.
and you're going to have pretty smooth sailing. I mean, this restart, there's not a lot of traffic you're going to have to deal with, so Keselowski is looking pretty darn good at this point.
Right now, he and Matt Kenseth, their times on the stopwatch pretty much mirroring each other each lap.
Yeah, and then if you go back very far, then those guys back behind them are a tenth or two off of what they're able to run. So I've just seen it over and over in the last year or so. Track position is more important than four fresh tires.
Yeah, the Hungry Hounds are from fourth place on back. Clint Boyer has now established himself in fourth over Vickers, Menard, Burton side by side. But look at the distance with 9 to go.
This is when you're just holding your breath. Please, please, guys, don't run over anything or anybody. Let me just get this thing to the house. I'm coming home.
All these are for position. Menard, the 27 in 7th, McClory 8th, Montoya 9th, Jimmy Johnson 10th.
Right now your tongue is hanging out. You've driven your guts out all day long and you're worn out. Just don't make a mistake.
And still in the fight, Harvick, Biffle, Newman, Bernhardt, and Stewart. Those are the lead lap cars.
And that has been a fight for Kevin Harvick in that 29 car.
Last time by, both 2 and 17 ran identical lap times.
Actually, about the top 4 drivers.
Yeah, kind of lay a blanket over them.
7 laps to go. First, second, and fifth with the least amount of Sunoco in the tank. That's Keselowski, Kenseth, and Vickers. First, second, and fifth.
You know, a year ago, we were not even talking about Brad Keselowski, and he won our final race, NASCAR Fox on fuel mileage in Kansas, and it has been game on.
Yeah, and everybody would say, well, you know, they're Penske going to change the Ford next year, and what are they going to do the rest of this year? Well, they're just going to go out and do what they always do, try to win races and try to win this championship. That's the Penske style.
4 laps to go. Jimmy Johnson battling Menard, and the 29 of Harvick. Those are lead lap cars.
All right, this is it right here. If Matt Kenseth has got anything for Brad Keselowski, it's time to step up.
And he is, Darrell, but he's knocking off hundredths a lap, not tenths a lap of that lead. It's 6 car lengths. Might as well be 6 miles right now.
That 2-car out front by itself, run the track where he wants to, high, low. He's got it cruise. He can get back to the line here without another incident.
Might be a lapper. Brendan Gaughan and maybe Carl Edwards between Keselowski and the finish line.
Right away, in the air, 1 to go. Air clear, 5 down. You're nervous. Don't worry, got someone in field.
Dale Jr. off the pace. And here comes Brad Keselowski for Roger Penske. 5th career Sprint Cup victory in 93 starts. Keselowski wins the Food City 500.
Nice job, man. Great drive.
And Brian Vickers, in his return here in 2012, gets a top 5 finish, finishes 5th.
5-5-5.
Martin Truex led a Michael Waltrip Racing sweep of 3rd through 5th. Truex, Boyer, Vickers behind Keselowski's Dodge and Kenseth's Ford. Top Chevy was Burton at 6th. And McCrory, Montoya, Johnson, and Menard. Keselowski led 4 times today for nearly half the race, including the final 111 laps.
Yeah, once he gets that thing out front, he was pretty hard to deal with.
Darrell, there's just something about that blue deuce in Bristol.
It really does, doesn't it? Well, I like this. I like Paul Wolf as a crew chief. Brad is on his game. This is a good little race team right here.
Now, Roger Penske has had a 2-car NASCAR team for a long time now. This is his 10th Bristol win, and all 10 of them have come with the deuce. Rusty Wallace, Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski.
May 5th on Fox. Tune in right at 8 as hard-hitting heavyweights Pat Berry and and Lamar Johnson go head-to-head in the first of 4 huge fights. Then cost tattoos on Hendricks, Palhares battles Belcher, and Ultimate Fighter champion Nate Diaz faces Jim Miller for a shot at title contention. 4 huge fights, 1 great night. May 5th live, free, and only on Fox.
Everything you love about Geico. Now mobile. Download the new Geico app today.
Suffering from allergy congestion? Allegra D decongests. Allegra D depressurizes so you can breathe. A fast, non-drowsy antihistamine plus a powerful decongestant for 24 hours of congestion-free breathing. Allegra D defends against allergy congestion.
Research shows that over 99% of Americans are not at their ideal heart health.
Hey, Mikey, did you know exercise will lower your risk of heart disease?
Yes, BW, and we look better than ever.
Let's win this thing, boys. I've got to get to my regular checkup.
Mike, this is actually a pretty big race. I'm starting to get a little nervous.
Nervous? You need to relax, Larry. Back stress is bad for you.
Visit heart.org/foxsports for simple steps to a better, healthier life.
And we welcome you back live here in Bristol. 28-year-old Brad Keselowski. And Brad is brash, a guy who, ultra-aggressive driver who also has a chip on his shoulder, Michael Waltrip, but I mean that in a good way. It helps him race aggressively and stand up to the greats in the sport.
There's a guy upstairs that won 12 of these babies with a chip on his shoulder. Kyle Busch very successful, and Kurt both here, so you have to have an attitude to come to Bristol. But winning here doesn't get any better than that.
And we've had the 4th different, referring of course to RDW, John's back in the day there, but 4th different race team that has won this year over the first 3 races. Of course, at Daytona with Matt Kenseth, who finished second at it, was the Roush Fenway Fords, and then Joe Gibbs Racing with Denny Hamlin, Tony Stewart with Stewart House Racing, and then today Roger Penske, as Mike Joy pointed out, Brad Keselowski pulling into victory lane in the Blue Deuce. As for Matt Kenseth and the 17 car, let's check in on the second place finisher with Matt Yoder.
A chess match back and forth between the 17 and 2 cars. The final third of the race was the final restart, the lane choice, the deciding factor, Matt.
It's pretty physical chess there, Matt. Yes and no. I mean, if I would have been on the top, maybe I could have pinned him down there, but on old tires, I knew he was going to choose the top. So he could really roll the bottom and 1 and 2 really good. And I'm surprised I couldn't capitalize on that and get around him. But that last run, we just started a little too loose, and we got on a lead, and plus we got some tape we picked up on and got on the brake ducts. And I was too free. I held him on the bottom, hoping he was going to burn his tires off in that second to last restart as long as I could. And I was finally going to crash, and he slid by me, and I could keep up, but that was about it.
Impressive start to the season continues for Kansas. Chris?
231 laps led for Brad Keselowski, a career high in victory lane with our Chris DeVoe.
As he climbs from his race car, celebrating with his crew, took time to tweet a picture of victory lane and the celebration. So last year when Brad Keselowski went here in the fall, they said he manipulated the timing line. So they made a new rule. What rule will they have to make to keep you out of victory lane the next time?
I don't know. This car, as strong as it was, Krista, I'm sure there's a rule that could be made, but, you know, I got on Twitter and got kind of PO'd at some people that said that weren't because of the timing line. I knew this Blue Deuce was fast enough to win the race last fall, with or without timing lines, and it feels so good to just prove it here today in the spring race. This car here, brand new car that Penske Racing built, everybody back in the shop did a phenomenal job. Last year's race has been really good, and I knew we had a shot at winning one if we ran like we were, and today we closed the deal. You know, Matt didn't make it easy, but...
you had him stalking you, and you chose the outside on that restart.
No, man. Well, that's his job to not make it easy on me, and he did a good job, and raced me hard, and I raced him hard, rubbed a little bit, but that's good racing, and
I don't know how anyone could say Bristol racing ain't as good as it was. I think they might be right because it's better than it's ever been. This is one of the best races I think I've ever been a part of and ever seen from behind the seats. So just thrilled to death to be here in Victory Lane at Bristol again. One of my favorite places for sure. And if this team keeps performing like they are, we'll get more.
Making a case for the new king of Bristol. Dick?
With Brian Vickers in an absolutely incredible run. You bring it home in 5th position without a dent in the car. How badly did you need this run as you're looking for more employment?
Well, when it's your only one, you better make it count, right? But I can't take any of the credit. I mean, wow, the guys, you can tell, just proud to be a part of NWR, getting 3 cars in the top 5. I can't thank Michael and Rob and everyone in NWR for giving me the opportunity. Obviously, Aaron's and Toyota. What an exciting day. Rodney showed us bolted together my first go-kart 20 years ago, and they handed it off to my father and a guy named Corey Smith to finish it off, and then he just put together my last one, and what a heck of a job. Called a great race. Everyone did good. New spotter, he did a great job as well.
Congratulations to you. Chris?
Thanks, Dick and Brian and owner Michael Waltrip, who we just mentioned taking a chance. 5 more races for Brian Vickers and maybe a few more.
Well, you never know. There's a couple road courses left on the schedule, and Brian certainly proved today that he's got his brain into what he's doing. It's still so good just to see a story like this develop. He got kicked out of his ride. He got kicked out of NASCAR. He wanted in so bad. Not only did he get back in, he came in with the attitude of, thank you, I want to go do good for you, and certainly did that today.
Sometimes you don't miss something until it's taken away. But back to Brad Keselowski on Twitter. Remember Daytona prime time on Fox when he added a couple hundred thousand to his account. Remember, he was fined by NASCAR for criticizing the fuel injection system of NASCAR at one point. So Twitter is part of his game, but he pulled into victory lane, held on back-to-back here at Bristol.
Yeah, there's 14th time in the history of this place that guys have gone back-to-back. So you get hot here, you can stay hot for a little while.
And Michael Waltrip racing hot today, as you see Brad Keselowski on the phone celebrating. Let's check in with Matt Yoker.
Martin Truex Jr. scored his first nationwide win right here in Thunder Valley. You almost picked up your first Cup win in Thunder Valley. How would you describe the day, Martin?
Well, it's a great day for us, for Napa Toyota, for everybody on our team. Obviously a great day for MWR. Just so proud of Michael and Rob and everything they put into this team to get us to where we are, and proud of Chad. His call at the end, he called to stay out and stuck to his guns, never second-guess himself, and he's really coming into his own as crew chief. So proud of him and the team. Proud of everybody at MWR for what they've given us. TRD for all their help, and we've come a long way. And the last 10 or 15 races, we've had a really consistent, really good race team. We've got a lot of confidence, and for us it was a good day. We were up and down. We were off in the middle part of the race, but we kept digging, worked hard on it, got back up into I think 5th or 6th, 7th right there before that last caution, and stayed out, and that was the call of the race. So just want to thank Chad, thank everybody on the Napa team, on the Napa car, and see what happens to go to California, try to get in victory lane. We're getting close.
Solid third for Truex.
Was Michael Waltrip, Toyota's running hot. You were twisting and turning with those pit calls as well, wondering as an owner here, what do we do? How do we play it?
Well, I felt so bad for Brad and Matt. 1-2, you know that those guys pit, everyone else stays out. They elected to stay out. Darrell was right. Track position has been king here at Bristol lately. We saw the preliminary race yesterday going with track position, so maybe that was the right call, but it's really cool to see people make a decision and say, that's it, go race your car, boy.
Our final thoughts from Larry and Mike and Darrell. And how about what Brad said, Mike, that Bristol's different, it's better than ever, at least for him, at victory lane.
Boy, he likes it. The drivers like this configuration, and I think the next time Brad says this is the best car I've ever had here, more people will pay attention. But of the usual suspects, 3 of our 3 5-time winners here all ended up in the fence at one time or another during the day. Tony Stewart had a problem, rebounded, recovered, got back up in the lead lap, got turned around. It's Bristol, baby.
It is. It really is. And it didn't disappoint me.
No.
I tell you, those long green flag runs and what it takes to stay up on the wheel and focus and run around here at 16 seconds. And that takes a man. This is a man's racetrack. You better have your work clothes on when you come here. And these guys today, they impressed me. Brian Vickers hadn't been in a car in almost a year. Up on the wheel all day long. It's a top 5 finish. And then Keselowski, just a wonderful job on his part. So I love Bristol. I like it any way they want to paint it. It's still Bristol.
And with them, Boyer, Truex, Burke, I mean, a lot of great stories all throughout the top 10, Larry. A story of perseverance, making the right adjustments, and just driving the wheels off the car.
Well, Daryl and we talked about it at the top of the show, that this would be an ever-changing racetrack. That we started on a racetrack, all the rubber had been washed off, and we dealt with a track where the sun was out, the sun was in. A race that only had 5 cautions, but going back to your point as well, who would ever believe in the first caution? We would have the big one and take out a lot of players that we felt like were going to be contenders, like Carl Edwards, like Casey Kane, like Kyle Busch. The big one took a bunch of them out in the very beginning.
Yeah, very early on. And the great thing about short track racing, Chris, is in just 2 weeks, we get to do it again. To Martinsville after we go to California and Fontana, as Michael and I check the unofficial results. And you see Jeff Burton, a good run for Richard Childress Racing, finishing up there at 6th. Jimmy Johnson, we talked about that wreck they did moments ago, early in lap 24. Jimmy Johnson got through that along with Brad Keselowski to be able to have successful finishes.
Yeah, we saw Tony Stewart getting the wall. He finishes 14th. Dale Jr. back in 15th. Heard he might have a flat at the end of the race. Denny Hamlin, he's got to be scratching his head a little bit. Off to such a fast start this year. Last couple of weeks, it's been a challenge.
For Regan Smith in the 78 car, winds up 24th. He was kind of caught up in that Casey Kane 6-car wreck that we referred to. And Jeff Gordon had a car that he thought he could win with. And I know you thought at the start of the race, but the incident with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Took him out, and he was frustrated.
You never know what can happen on these short tracks. Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, all in the same crash. That was huge early in this race.
Junior did lead a couple of laps. Keselowski celebrating at victory lane. Let's check in with Junior and our Steve Burns.
Well, Dale Jr., once you guys got some track position, you're pretty much a top 5 race car all day.
Yeah, we were fast all weekend. Real happy with the way the NASCAR Mountain Dew Chevrolet we ran all day. We sped went last stop, I guess. I come down the back straightaway, and I had green lights all the way down. Now I had 2 red lights on the front straightaway. And I was told I was speeding on the back, but if anywhere I was speeding on the front. So I don't know. This place is probably hard to tell exactly what's happening. I don't really trust the timing lights too much, but well, if they say so, I guess we were speeding. Difficult way to give up a good finish, and we ran hard, worked hard all day, and you know, I hate what happened to Jeff. We were racing really hard, you know, and it was fun, and you know, this is one of the places, you know, if there's a track where you can lean on each other a little bit, this ought to be the place. But we just barely rubbed down the back straightaway, and
yeah, I heard you say I didn't get into it much.
Well, if you showed it on TV, I'm sure some people might have thought that was a hard hit, but that to me was good hard racing. And the pipes on my car cut the left rear tire down, and I feel terrible about that happening to my teammate. Those guys worked really hard, and they were running good and happy with their car, I'm sure. But you put, you know, there's 4 of us out there. We're bound to race each other and run into each other every once in a while. But you know, otherwise, just frustrated about the finish. But we did run good. We run better than we run here last year. We run really good pretty much everywhere except for Phoenix. And things are looking up for our team. Thank you, Dale.
Thanks, Junior. And Steve, well, you know, these are 2 guys you talk about successful drivers who've been around like Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and these are the best at what they do. Is that just, you know, the good hard racing? Where's the line on that, especially between teammates?
Well, the line wasn't crossed here at Bristol. They just bumped. It just was unfortunate that the pipes cut Jeff's tire and boom, he went into the wall. I agree with Junior on that one. What I don't agree with him is those timing lines are computers. I think they're pretty close to being accurate. So if you're speeding, you're speeding. It's pretty black and white.
Don't argue with the machine.
That's
the
right.
Computer ultimately wins. Let's check back in with Steve Burns, who's with Jimmy Johnson.
Well, Jimmy Johnson, sun in and out today. A lot of teams going chasing the racetrack. How was your afternoon?
It wasn't too bad. You know, we had a tough qualifying effort, tough practice, but we had a competitive car. I think a top 5 car. I don't think we had anything for the win, but you know, we got stuck on the inside lane there in the 16, had some trouble getting going, and we lost a few spots. Otherwise, I think we would have been right around 5th or 6th. So not a bad day. Great day on pit road. Proved a ton over the weekend. Had a competitive race car today, and we'll go on with it with this, I guess, not place finish.
See you in Fontana.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Californian Jimmy Johnson, as we check the standings. 4 different winners after 4 races. And of course, Jimmy will find out on Tuesday whether his crew chief is going to be with him. Chad Canals for the next 6 races suspended, or those points will be docked. 23rd coming in. He would have been 13th without that, but we'll check that as we see Greg Biffle, who led early on the pole and remains your points leader.
Yeah, I would say test passed by Biffle. He had a solid day, kept his point lead. Denny Hamlin had the point lead for a week, couldn't hold on to it. Now Biffle's got it.
We'll take a look ahead at next week in the Auto Club 400 from Fontana, California. More live coverage from the win by Brad Keselowski here in Bristol on Fox.
Pujols, Fielder, and baseball's biggest stars are on opening weekend. Only on Fox Saturday Baseball, April 7th. Fox Thursday, After Idol. He sees the entire universe. What am I supposed to do now? Just trust your son. Look, today we change faces. Todd's World Premiere, Thursday After Idol on Fox.
Saving Laverne has quality inventory that is constantly changing.